get a look at Anne-Renee Desbiens, who is a stalwart for Team Canada at the World Championships, captured a gold medal and has played against Boston once so far this year. Erin Frankel gets the start for Boston. She has been the #1 keeper for this hometown team. It's the top line for Montreal, and Marie-Philippe Poulin, Laura Stacey, and Kristen O'Neill out there with the defensive pairing of Mariah Keepel and Amanda Bouillet to start. For Boston, it's the second line of Jamie Lee Rattray with Hannah Brandt and Hillary Knight. Megan Keller and Emily Brown are at the blue line as we start the game. And this is the fourth meeting between these two teams. Two of them have gone to overtime. Boston won up at Verdun Auditorium 4-3 back in January. Montreal played spoilers here in Boston's home rink, winning 2-1 in overtime. And Montreal winning the most recent matchup 3-1 back on March 2nd.
It's been over 2 months since these two teams have played, and for a league that only has 6 teams, that's a long time to go without playing each other.
Tabin shoots, and it was blocked in front. She got it back on her forehead. Poulin shoots, and Frankel makes the save. 60 seconds in. You're going to look at the updated standings. We have a final score between New York and Minnesota. It was New York who won 5-2, meaning Minnesota could theoretically miss the playoffs as well.
Yeah, they could. They've lost 5 straight games, and that's worked out very well for Boston. Helps Ottawa as well. As you see the updating clinching scenarios for those teams. Minnesota struggling at the end of the year. They might not make the playoffs, which is surprising.
Boston needs to score more points than Ottawa this weekend. Good checking by Murphy. She played her college hockey at Providence and then Northeastern. Bounces it off of the near side boards, trying to get it to Michaela Grant-Mentis. Skating up now, Claire Dalton. Dalton shoulder bumps Morin. Morin tried to take it away, but Dalton's still with it. She tosses it to the blue line. This is Bouillet. And it's picked up in the corner by Claire Dalton. Shots 2-0 for Boston, and a couple quick ones in response from Montreal. Boston trying to work it out of their own zone. Rattray had it sent backwards. Grant-Mentis picks it up. Right wing circle. Drops it for Bouillet. Bouillet tried a centering feed, but it was blocked by Brandt. She got down on a knee and intercepted that pass.
That's what I mean by Hannah Brandt being so good defensively, not afraid to put her body on the line and get back.
A turnover here. Hillary Knight breaks it out. Runs into some traffic at the red line. Poked ahead by Jamie Lee Rattray. We had a chance to talk with Jamie Lee heading into the matchup. She said, we're in a really good position right now. And we're just focused on controlling what we can control. We hit a whistle on the icing. Stacey was a rookie in the PWHL when Courtney Kessel was on the Brampton Thunder. Laura Stacey telling us that Kessel was a great leader and a great player on that team, and it has been so encouraging to see her move into the coaching ranks. She's also an assistant with Team Canada. Poulin plays give and go. Down on the right wing, batted around, and it went in on the pad of Frankel before being jarred loose. Shirley comes the other way, but is pressured from behind by Erin Ambrose, one of the best defenders in the league. Offsides. Big hit in the corner as Keppel is slow to get up. DiGirolamo on the other end for Boston. Wenskowski tried to get it out to Pelkey, but it went through her stick into the opposite boards. Amanda Pelkey had the game winner in overtime when these two teams first met back on January 13th. That was just game 2 of the season. To the top of the blue line. Right point fluttered in and wide of goal. Dubois tries to pick it up behind. And some nice hitting in the corner by Kaylee Fratkin, the experienced defender. Dubois tries to keep possession for Montreal, but Wenskowski able to push it ahead. Montreal quickly regroups and sends it in. Frankel is out from goal and slows it down for Jess Healy. Back in towards Frankel. She leaves it for Fratkin. Dubois tried to send it in from the red line, turned over. Here's Teresa Shopsall. Shopsall puts on the brakes. Played her college hockey at UVM, gets it to Healy, had a shot blocked. That went in on Laganier, and another shot blocked. That's time from Morin on the outside. This Montreal team surrenders just 2.3 goals per game. And Renee Desbiens, who's between the pipes, has a .926 save percentage this year. As Boston finishes off their change, Susanna Tapani backhands it for Alina Mueller. Mueller pushed into the boards by Catherine Daou. Knight now has it. Knight creeping along the goal line, taps it back for Mueller. Mueller spins it to the open side. Brown shoots, deflected, and it's wide.
Great movement by Boston right now in the offensive zone, though they've been keeping a lot of it to the outside. Going to want to send something through the middle here.
Hannah Brandt, a nifty pass, but it's intercepted. Sealed off quickly by Jillian Dempsey, and Montreal comes out the other way.
Tired legs on the ice, though. She just gains the red line, throws it deep, lets everyone change off.
Boston one more shot than Montreal in the early goings. Approaching 6 minutes gone in period number one. Boston has played some low-scoring games, especially since the World Championship break. They have won 3 2-1 games and then fell in a shootout to Ottawa, 3-2. This is O'Neill. O'Neill has it batted away. Poulin picks it up. She shoots. Oh, it's just wide. Dangerous opportunity for Marie-Philippe Poulin, the captain of this Montreal team.
Stacy was right out in front screen, and Frankel too. She was out of position. Both these power plays have actually been doing better as of late. As you can see, they haven't had a lot of chances against each other, but since the break, Montreal's power play has been on fire. 6 power play goals in the last 4 games. And when we talked to Courtney Kessel, Boston's head coach, she said, you cannot give them more than 2 power plays, you're going to pay.
She said it was a point of emphasis to take 2 penalties or fewer today. Well, Boston is shorthanded here. They get called for too many men on the ice right before the break. So that brings out Montreal's power play, which has scored 11 power play goals this season, converting just under 14% of the time. They've also drawn the most penalties of any team in the league. Down low to the goal line, tossed back up top, creeping in over to Stacy. She shoots, and Frankel able to push it to the end boards. Brandt has it now. She flicks it out, but not all the way past the blue line. Play catch with Stacy. Stacy, 3 power play goals on the season. That's tied for 2nd in the league. Stacy goes back to Ambrose. Ambrose setting up O'Neill. Back to Ambrose. Ambrose with 6 power play assists. Goes to Stacy. She didn't get all of that one. O'Neill tried to send it back out towards the left foot of Frankel. Montreal keeping the puck in the zone with 40 seconds left. Stacy back to Ambrose. Ambrose shoots, and it was blocked in front. Nice job there by DiGirolamo. Big shot by O'Neill, and it goes wide. Stacy back to Ambrose. Montreal keeps on pushing. This has been a long shift for this Boston PK. Turnover. DiGirolamo gets it out. And the green sweaters hustle to the bench.
That's a textbook power play start right there by the first unit. They were getting a lot of movement. They get some shots. Got a huge rebound that came back out in front, and Ambrose doing a good job keeping pucks in at the point.
Special teams a point of emphasis with both head coaches leading up to this game. Frankel makes a punch save.
They're back to even strength.
No shots on goal during that power play. They had a lot of ozone time, but Boston able to implement some bend but don't break as they have killed off the first penalty in this one. Their PK has been pretty successful, killing off just over 82% of their penalties. And power play percentages have been low across the board in the league this year. Boston is one of a couple teams that's below 10%. Frankel had that one dribble in towards her stick. She opted to play it. Tapani looks ahead for Shopsall. She can't get it through the neutral zone. Frankel slows things down for Morin. Morin, the defender from Minnetonka, Minnesota, 2nd on the team in shots. One of the team's fiercest blue liners. Nice back check there by Healy. And Boston is moving. Here comes Morin. She shoots. Rebound chance. Corralled by Mueller. In front, Morin. And Debian covers up.
What a great backhand pass by Mueller to set that up out front. And a great job just trailing, trying to follow up on this shot by Sydney Moore. And she gets the original chance and goes right to the front of the net, hoping for this pass to come back out. You see Debian stops it, but then Mueller backhand right out front for a backhand try.
Bridget, that is some of the skill and stick handling that we've seen in Alina Mueller's career. Had seemingly no space and set it up really well for Moore.
Yeah, she really didn't. She was being covered by two defenders.
Keller shoots. It was blocked in front. That got up on the sweater of Lexi Agia. Agia acquired in a trade from Ottawa in exchange for Cheyenne Darkangelo. That puck went all the way through, and Debian will cover up. Seems like Montreal has found their #1 goalie. Elaine Chuli has done a really good job backing up Debian this year. Chuli has played in 8 games, but with Debian being the national team goalie for Team Canada and really hitting her stride down the stretch run, looks like she will be starting for Montreal come the playoffs. Again, Montreal has clinched the #2 seed. Boston is still alive, but their playoff berth is not guaranteed. They work through. Rattray left side, and Debian makes the pad save. Rattray gets it back behind goal, and Debian will watch that into her glove.
Coach, what are your takeaways from the first half of that period?
Yeah, I like our compete level right now. We've blocked lots of shots. We know that Boston is a hungry team, and you know, it's up to us to match that intensity.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you so much.
Well, Montreal has locked up the #2 seed in the playoffs, but head coach Corey Chevry made a point to us, Bridget, that this team wants to get better with every single game, and they want to hit the playoffs and hit the ground running.
Well, yeah, they've been playing a lot of hungry teams on the way, so that really helps you get into that desperation mode, that playoff mode. They were the team that knocked New York out. They ended New York's season. That was a team playing desperate hockey at the time. They've also played Ottawa and now Boston, so they're getting a lot of good high-pressure games.
Dribbling puck comes all the way into Frankel, but she was ready for it. Able to just flick it out. Montreal doing a good job extending these ozone possessions as Knight tried to sidestep around a defender, but Tabin quickly walks in and slings it around the boards. It's picked up on the other side by Rattray, who had a great chance right before we took the break. Just over 11 minutes gone. Here's Dubois. Backhand shot. Frankel able to make the save. Once again, Aaron Frankel, a show-stopping save.
This is a bad change by Boston that allows Dubois all that extra space to walk down the lane. As you can see, everybody's kind of behind her. That's because defenders were trying to switch off the ice, and that leaves Dubois in alone. She tries to go to the backhand, but Frankel slides over real quick to make the stop.
Catherine Dubois has 2 goals this year. 1 on the power play. Played with the Montreal Force for 3 years. As a lot of these players on the Montreal side are from Quebec or nearby. Several of them played on the Canadian national team at World Championships in Utica, New York.
Yeah, that whole top line for Montreal playing for Team Canada.
They've gained a lot of familiarity playing with one another. Players like Laura Stacey, Marie-Philippe Poulin, Aaron Ambrose and company. Boston trying to set something up. Nice effort there by Dempsey. And Montreal able to settle things down. Shots are 9-6 for the visitors. They've had some great chances on a couple sloppy Boston changes. Montreal scoreless on the only power play in this game. And again, if you're just joining us, Boston is fighting for a chance to make the playoffs. New York upset Minnesota earlier, as offsides is called here. No love lost between the former teammates. Jamie Lee Rattray, though she's with hometown Boston, was on Team Canada at those World Championships.
Yeah, those two are friends. But they're also competitors, especially in a game like this.
Both teams want to win. Boston hungry to sneak into the playoffs. They've captured 7 of the 9 available points across their last 3 games. And since coming back from the World Championship break, they've won 3 games in regulation and lost once in a shootout. It's kept their playoff hopes alive, heading down to the final weekend. Final game of the regular season is tomorrow between Ottawa and Toronto. Toronto has locked up the #1 seed, meaning they will choose their first round opponent. Sliding through now, Sarah Lafleur. Lafleur tried to get it into the corner, but it hopped up and over the glass. We have no score here between Boston and Montreal. Montreal has had the better of the action. 5 scoring chances to 1 for Boston, but they're still trying to set up their forecheck as Boston has gotten some transition opportunities. Fradkin tried to shovel it out, but it was slapped down by Gabrielle David. Boston gets it ahead to DiGirolamo. Tapped at the red line by Rattray, who goes to chase it. Debian, a risky pass, and Rattray gets laid out. She took a hit up top. This might be a major, as Rattray is still down on the ice after taking a hit behind the play.
Yeah, that was definitely something that warranted the whistle there. And originally it looked like they're going to let the play go, so they're probably going to have to talk over whether or not this is a penalty. But she gets hit high, she loses the stick, she goes down holding the arm, and she leaves the ice on her own power. We'll keep an eye on her.
Jamie Lee Rattray, one of the alternate captains with Boston. And sure enough, those penalty box doors are going to stay shut. Here's a look. Right after the pass up ahead, it looks like Maureen Murphy. Pardon me, Sarah Lafleur.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't look like a hit to the head. It's solid contact. Rattray was skating in that direction. I don't think she was expecting the hit, so she didn't really brace herself. She wasn't expecting Lafleur to finish the check the way she did, and so she took it up high, went down hard. But she stays on the bench, so that's good news for Boston.
Keller off of the face-off win, flicks it in towards the end boards, and it's picked up by Madison Bazal. Montreal with speed, works through, but the pass intercepted. Nice job by Brandt. Brandt leaves it for Babstock. Babstock, she scores! Might have been tapped by Knight, just snuck inside the post, and Boston has the lead.
The will of Babstock starts this play. She was just added to Boston, just signed a 10-day standard players agreement on April 21st. She drives the net and she gets the puck out in front. It looks like Hillary Knight gets the last touch, and as you can see, it comes across, and Knight able to reach the stick out as far as possible and poke that in past the toe of Davian. But really credit to Babstock just bringing the puck into that area at all. It makes its way past Poulin behind her, and Knight finding it. That's exactly what we were talking about off the top of the broadcast. You need your captain, who's so cool under pressure, to come in a big game today.
You saw 4 cream-colored jerseys there with the goalie and Renee Dabian, but Babstock and Knight able to just get their sticks on the puck, and Knight sneaks it past the left leg of Dabian. 1-0 Boston, as Knight has now scored in each of the last 3 games.
And for Babstock, she'd only played 6 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time total in her 3 games with Boston. She was added to the team after Lauren Gable was put on long-term IR, so she hasn't been part of the team for most of the season, and she's coming in and making a difference here in the last game of the regular season.
Not only that, Bridget, she's listed as the extra skater here tonight, so not even on a solid line in this game as the 13th forward that was active here today, and Babstock makes a big difference in the first goal of this game. Goal scored at 15 minutes and 19 seconds in the first period. Knight with her 6th of the season. Assists go to Babstock and Brandt. Here's another shot. Shirley picks it up quickly. A lot of speed from Sophie Shirley. Shirley still with it after skating around the length of the ozone. Took a hit as well. Flung in by Healy. And Dabian will make the glove save. Hillary Knight from Sun Valley, Idaho. 4 Olympic medals to her name. 1 gold in 2018 and 3 silvers. 30 years old. And now 10 points on the season. Backhanded by Mueller, and Debian makes another save.
Looking to get her going, hopefully, before what Boston hopes is a playoff run.
Mueller, the rookie, fresh out of Northeastern University. She's playing against a college teammate and line mate in Maureen Murphy. Murphy has carved out a nice role on this Montreal squad. Boston has the puck. Knight works through it. A beautiful pass to Babstock. She pulls back, shoots. Knight again on the doorstep. Oh, but it goes from the painted crease out to the far side boards.
This is the second shift in a row that Babstock has gone out there with Hillary Knight. You're putting your extra forward out there with your captain and one of the deadliest goal scorers in the country.
Kelly Babstock joining Boston midway through the year, 31 years old. She played college hockey and college lacrosse at Quinnipiac.
And that Quinnipiac connection brings her here to Boston.
Here's a turnover. Murphy now has it, but she swivels back. Got it to Tabin, but it ate her up on her skate. And Boston able to clear. Shirley won't get there to beat out the icing, so the faceoff comes to the other end. Boston takes advantage of a shorthanded rush, and Kelly Babstock connects with Hillary Knight to just have a rolling puck. Beat Debian. Beautiful passing and a goal! Elena Mueller doubles the Boston lead. Right on cue.
David, this all starts with a face-off win. This ends up with possession with Boston, and shortly after they get possession off the draw, Elena Mueller puts the puck in the back of the net. You see the fight off the draw. Mueller helping to get that free shot. Pops it back to her. Low slot. She lifts it in, and Debian didn't have a lot of time to react.
That's textbook passing off the face-off win, and like you said, with Murphy down on her backside, Mueller had all the space in the world between the circles to pick her spot.
Yeah, so Mueller starting to get things going again. 2 goals since the international break now.
Boston has 5 of the last 6 shots on goal, and they've scored twice in that stretch. We've hit the final minute of the first period. Boston controls their own fate. With a regulation win, they make the playoffs. Loose puck, it leaked out. A lot of bodies in front, including Hannah Brandt and Hillary Knight once again, as Boston wants more. Boston scores 2 goals, 3 minutes and 23 seconds apart. Elena Mueller's was assisted by Teresa Shopsall and Susanna Tapani, so each of the first line forwards with a point on this play.
Yeah, you see Tapani ties up the draw, and Shopsall gets below the goal line, pops it right back out. Mueller and Tapani both in the area, and not a lot of coverage out in front of the net for Montreal. You see everyone's still over in the face-off circle. Leaves Boston with plenty of space to score.
And the last time Boston played here at the Tsonga Center, Bridget, we saw Boston score a goal off of a Susanna Tapani 1 faceoff. She has been great at the dot. Second on the team in faceoff wins with over 150 heading into this game. And it was the clean win on the draw that set up Shopsall, that set up Mueller. 15 seconds left in the first 20 minutes of this game, and Boston is in a great spot. If the score holds, they would be guaranteed a spot in the postseason. They need a regulation win here today, as we have hit the break at the end of the first. Erin Frankel was perfect in period number 1, stopping all 11 shots she faced. Debian on the other side, 10 saves and 2 goals allowed. Team switch sides, fresh sheet of ice, fresh logo as well. The UMass Lowell logo gives way to the PWHL Boston logo at center ice. Beautiful pass back to Knight. She shoots. Debian makes a stop. And the puck's still loose. Knight centering feed. Debian reaches out and covers up. Kelly Babstock has now filled into the left wing spot on the second line. Jamie Lee Rattray took that big hit up top in the first period. We have not seen her very much since. So Babstock, the extra skater, getting some more burn. And she has an assist to show for it. Boston setting up shop here in the O-zone. Tapani down at the goal line in the corner. Leaves it off for Mueller. Mueller takes a peek behind her and surveys the scene. She's pushed into the end boards by Erin Ambrose. Ambrose from Keswick, Ontario. 17 points on the season. High shot, batted down in front. Took a redirection, didn't get all the way through. And out comes Maureen Murphy. Murphy with speed. Murphy shoots, and it's blocked. Puck dribbles out to the far side corner where Grant Mentis picks it up. Michaela Grant Mentis to the right side. Fluttering puck, hit a leg of Tapani. David gets it back. Gabrielle David from Drummondville, Quebec.
And David, you mentioned earlier about Jamie Lee Rattray taking the big check. She's not on the Boston bench this period, so it looks like she may not return to this game. First, it looked like she was going to shake it off.
In front, and it's batted out to the outside. Yeah, we have not seen Jamie Lee Rattray. She's been a key contributor for Boston this year. 3 goals, 8 assists, and 11 points. One of the 2 alternate captains as well, and a real leader. Took a hit in the open ice from Sarah LaFour and was down for an extended period after. Debienne, little spin move, back to the near side, and Healy slowed it down. Laganier has to go the opposite way. Home run feed, trying to find Dahu. It's under her stick, and it's clear icing. So 4-on-4 we go. For Boston, it's Keller, Brandt, Knight, and Morin. For Montreal, it's Stacy, Ambrose, Poulin, and looks like the last is O'Neill. Pardon me, it is David. David now stops behind Debienne and passes back to Ambrose. Ambrose leaves it ahead for Stacy. Stacy had it taken away by Megan Keller. Keller looks to move with speed to the open ice and intercepted, intended for Hillary Knight. Laura Stacy picks it up in the corner. Montreal, cross ice feed, a big shot. Frankel makes the chest save. She goes post to post and seals off Tabin. Stacy now with it. Stacy has it poked into the neutral zone, and Montreal has to get back on side.
Not only did Frankel get across so fast, she also took away that angle. She came out and challenged the puck a little bit, didn't leave any of the net open to shoot in.
Shots are even, 13 for each side. Montreal had the first 5 scoring chances. Then Boston responded with a flurry at the end of the first period, scored both of their goals with less than 5 minutes to go in the first. Beautiful feed into the slot for Keppel, and her shot is flicked to the outside. Mariah Keppel, an unsung hero on this Montreal team. That one caroms up and into the glass. Off of the stick of Maureen Murphy. Murphy gets it back, dribbling puck to Frankel, and again steered into the corner. O'Neill pushed down by Morin. The puck will slow down with it. Just 15 seconds left in the matching minors to Dahu and Brown. Tapani with speed. Tapani looks for Mueller just out of her reach. And Boulier leaves it for O'Neill. O'Neill past the red line. Puck goes end over end past the blue line where Alina Mueller picks it up and moves up the near side. Passes it out to Fratkin. Fratkin will dump and chase after it. Fratkin gets it back. Nice passing here, but just off of the stick of Shirley and now loose. Agia as it come loose to Boulier. Boulier pushed off the puck by Sophie Shirley. She's logged some great minutes in this one. Agia now with it. Just tried to drop it into the opposite corner as Boston keeps it moving. Centering feed, hit off of his stick. And again, Karam to the outside. Fratkin absorbs a hit from Dahu. And Shirley back with it. Sophie Shirley played her college hockey at Wisconsin. Babstock now with Boston in the midst of a change. Brown shoots, and it's deflected wide. Ran into some traffic in front of Debienne, and Brown was eyeing her second goal. Shirley bounces down and off of the pad of Debienne. Debienne recollects herself, and Montreal finally gets it out. Frankel puts her...
They're looking for a penalty there as puck kind of bumped into her. Babstock bumped into her on that last net front play.
And Renee Desbiens from Claremont, Quebec, had 18 saves in her only start against Boston. Knight! Oh, what a feed! Megan Keller finishes it off. Boston pouring it on. They're up 3-0.
Boston is imposing their will in this game. That was just a hard work, hard effort play from the neutral zone all the way to the finish. And it's two of Boston's best. Hillary Knight setting up, Megan Keller driving the net, as we'll get a look to watch how this all developed in the neutral zone. Hannah Brandt takes the contact but gets the pass to Hillary Knight. And just in the nick of time, over to Keller as she was headed back door. Pops it once again, just over the pad of Desbiens.
Gorgeous feed to the opposite slot by Hillary Knight. Picture perfect, able to sneak past Grant Ventus. Boston now controls their own fate with a regulation win against Montreal. They are in the playoffs as either the 3 or the 4 seed. Montreal is to come back in this one. Boston would then be waiting on what happens in tomorrow's game between Toronto and Ottawa. Boston, another ozone faceoff win and some extended possession here with Bridget Prue. I'm David Korzanowski, and Bridget, we know how lethal this Montreal offense can be. What do you think they need to do to try to get back in this game?
Well, what they've been lacking this game has been a lot of the simple things. They need to get back to their forecheck. They need to get pucks deep, win those battles, pop pucks back out in front of the net of Erin Frankel. She hasn't been tested all that much. Made a few good saves, but quantity-wise, Montreal needs to get more to the net, and they've been losing the transition game as well. They've been having a hard time getting past Boston.
Another turnover when Skowski's laid out, and that's going to be roughing.
Yep, penalty there coming against Montreal. This will give Boston their first power play of the game when Skowski took the big check.
And it's Marie-Philippe Poulin, Captain Clutch, who will go to the box when Skowski draws the penalty, and Boston will go to the power play for the first time today. Cross-checking is the call.
Poulin not happy. She thinks this is clean. We'll get a chance to see from another angle ourselves. So when Skowski has the puck, which means she's open for business in terms of making a check. You're allowed to make a check as long as it's clean contact, not to the head. And I guess they're saying she did follow through with a stick. If that had just been shoulder or upper body to upper body, that would not have been called. But because the stick was up there as well, Poulin will be in the box for cross-checking. Boston
has 4 power play goals this year, and this power play is brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel. Power through tough messes. Boston converts on just under 8% on the power play. They've struggled there as Keller shoots. That one went up high and off of the side of Gigi Marvin. Pardon me, Pelkey now steers it back to Keller. Keller, the most recent goal scorer. Brown had it flick up, and now Mueller with it. Montreal's penalty kill is successful 84% of the time. They rank 4th in the league in PK percentage. Keller goes across the blue line to Tapani. Tapani on the right wing circle will slow things down. Boston with a minute left on the advantage. Keller rang it off the post. Keller almost had her second goal of this game. She gets it back. Keller drops it off for Tapani, and it was blocked by Keppel. Shirley now drifts to the open ice. Sophie Shirley moves in. Swivels back.
This Montreal penalty kill is playing really tight, not aggressive at all so far.
Brandt on the outside. Brandt working in on Dalton. On the goal line now, Knight goes behind. Knight on the left side. 20 seconds left on the power play. Shot from Shopsall. That one might have hit the post too. Desbiens' stick hand got a piece, but Shopsall nearly had that one bounce in. 5 seconds left. A pad save, Desbiens. And Boston with great chances. They get 2 shots on goal on the power play. But out of the box is Poulin, and both teams now 0 for 1 on the power play. Here's a shot. Desbiens, another save. She has not had a moment to breathe. When Skowski able to get her stick on the puck as Boston continues to pressure in their O-zone. Montreal finally breaks it out. Nice pass off the boards from Murphy. Murphy into the corner with Grant Mentis. Michaela Grant Mentis was on Ottawa to start the year. She was released and then picked up as a free agent by Montreal before the rosters froze. Grant Mentis played her college hockey up in the Northeast. She went to Merrimack.
I actually got a chance to see her play at Merrimack quite a bit. Very physical player. I don't think we've really seen that from her yet in the PWHL, but she has more to give. Now she's got new life here with Montreal.
Merrimack not far away from UMass Lowell, where we currently are here at the Sonda Center and the home arena for Boston. Beautiful pass across the circles. Keller shoots. Debian, another low save.
I'm joined now by Boston head coach Courtney Kessel. Coach, tonight it is survive and advance. You know what this game means. How do you like the way your teams come out?
Yeah, we came out a little slow, in fact, in the beginning, but I think we really picked up the energy. But this game's far from over, so we got to keep going.
And how do you like the forecheck?
It's going well. I think we're playing a little bit more physical, which is the way we need to play. So I think we just need to continue to do that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paige, and thank you, Courtney. She's right there. The forecheck's been much better for Boston than it has been for Montreal. Face-offs, too. Just the simple things Boston is doing better.
Boston a healthy lead in face-offs at the end of the first period. They were +7 in that category. 17-11 at the last break. As we have one goal this period, it came from Megan Keller at 6:23. Assists from Hillary Knight and Hannah Brandt. Hannah Brandt now has 2 helpers today. Hillary Knight has a goal and an assist. As Boston has gotten the better of Montreal. Off-angle shot on the outside. And a big save by Debian. In front now. And flung out by Montreal. Fradkin gets on her horse back to Erin Frankel in goal.
DiGirolamo took a hit that last sequence there going down the tunnel.
Play has been physical. We've seen some pushing and shoving after the whistle as well. Here comes Tabin. Tabin to the outside, back to Poulin. Swung over by Laganier. Katie Tabin trying to set things up with Laura Stacey. Stacey tied for second on the team in points. Open goal. Frankel, how did she make that stop? Wide open on the left side. Looked like Poulin was creeping in with Tabin. But Montreal still comes up empty. Tabin flashing her stick. Batted around in front. Puck still loose, and it goes out to the far side corner. Bouncing puck in front. And hammered at, but to the outside it goes.
2 failed clears there by Hillary Knight trying to go up the wall, but Montreal able to keep it in both times.
That went off of the skate of Melody Daou. And Keppel runs back, icing. We'll bring it back down the ice. Frankel came into this matchup second in the league in goals against average at 1.94. Tied for second in the league in save percentage at .930, stopping 93% of the shots that she's faced heading into this matchup. Well, today, she's perfect. 19 saves as Montreal just had a great possession and a lot of chances, but Boston still with a hefty lead. With a win in regulation, Boston is guaranteed a spot in the postseason. They would just be looking at tomorrow's game for seeding. Boston owns the tiebreaker against Minnesota, but Ottawa owns the tiebreaker against Boston. Wenskowski flicked it in from the outside, and it's batted to the end boards. Brown can't hold it on the blue line. Laganier working quickly to the red line. Dalton tried to swing it forward. Pelkey now stood up in front of the Boston bench. Toppany lays a hit. Again, strong forecheck from Boston as Shopsaw comes away with it. Toppany tees one up, and Debian falls on it. You can certainly see it, and Boston confident here with just over 5 minutes to go in the second period. Goals from Megan Keller, Alina Mueller, and Hillary Knight. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, as Boston looks for their second win over Montreal this year. Interesting note, this is the only team that they play 4 times in the regular season. They have played every other team 5 times. That's just the way that the schedule breaks. You get 24 games in the regular season. And starting next week, we will have semifinals in Toronto and Montreal. They have locked up home ice for the semifinal round. Each of those will be 5-game series, with the winners squaring off in the final PWHL Championship Series. Winner will get the Walter Cup in the inaugural season of this league. Babstock left it back. Nobody home, though, trailing, and Brandt picks it up.
Hillary Knight was actually right in the area, but let it go, thinking someone was going to grab it at the point, but it split both defenders.
Picked up by Brandt from her knees. She left it back for Knight, and it's taken away by Leah Lum. Lum from British Columbia, played with the Toronto Six last year in the PHF. That one slammed off the far side boards and picked up by Lum. Into Frankel, and she'll slap it out towards the corner. Shirley takes a hit, and Agia picks it up. Lexi Agia on the outside, shoots, and it goes wide to the opposite slot. Agia now in on the action against the boards, and she comes away with the puck. DiGirolamo tosses it over to Morin. Morin on the goal line. Back to Agia. Agia to Brown. Brown flings it in, and it took a redirection up high. Emily Brown has been more and more potent on the offensive end. Found her first goal of the season the last time Boston played at the Tsongas Center. That was in a 2-1 win against Toronto, the #1 seed in the playoffs. Here's Pelkey. Amanda Pelkey to Morin. Morin winds up, and Debian makes the save. Puck is loose, and the whistle blows.
Another great offensive zone shift for Boston. You see the movement. It goes all the way low to high, high to low. They get the puck down off a point shot. It comes out in front of Debian, and then it's the scramble for the puck. Gigi Marvin laying out, trying to get there first. A lot of bodies out in front of the net. A few end up on the ice because Debian not able to hold on to the original shot, but jumps on the second chance.
That shot came coming in from Sid Morin. Morin entered this game with 65 shots. That's second on the team, behind only Hillary Knight, who is north of 90. This Boston team has been the lowest scoring in the league, but today, 3 goals and counting. And if this result holds, meaning a regulation win, Boston gets 3 more points in the standings, and they would clinch a spot in the playoffs. Pelkey tried to shovel it along, but Montreal keeps it in with just over 2 minutes to go in the second period. Keller outlets to Marvin, and it's flipped down deep for Wenskowski. Icing is waved off. Intercepted by Mueller. Hit taken by Shopsall. Toppany now. That caromed up and into the netting as Susanna Toppany pressing the issue.
After this final weekend of play, when the standings finally lock in, we don't know who's 3 or 4 yet. It could be Boston, could be Montreal, could be Ottawa. Won't find out till tomorrow night when Toronto and Ottawa finish off the regular season.
If this result holds, Ottawa would need a win in regulation tomorrow to make the playoffs. With 2 or 1 point, they would be on the outside looking in, and Minnesota would hang on by the skin of their teeth after losing 5 straight.
Ottawa's lost 2 straight as well.
Whoa, that came all the way in on Debian. Off of the left pad into the end boards. Toppany, a nice move. Toppany creeping in, still with it. Oh, and she lost it between the circles. Susanna Toppany, such a crucial addition to this team, and starting to find more and more results on the offensive end.
She's just such a confident, steady player, wins a lot of face-offs, possesses really well.
She came over in the first trade in PWHL history for Sophie Jakes. Jakes was a star at Ohio State and went to Minnesota in the trade. Brandt now with it. Brandt leaves it for Knight. Knight shoots! Oh, and a bad save by Debian. Knight almost had her second. Boston heavily slanted in this second period. Debian another glove save. Scoring chances now 10-3 for Boston here in the second. Big hit along the boards, and Stacy got the most of it. Refs are trying to clean things up in the final seconds of period number 2. No penalties to be dished out. Boston adds another goal in the middle frame, and Bridget, they are 20 minutes away from locking up a spot in the playoffs.
Alina got 3 goals offensively. What's clicking with the team?
I think we have way more puck possession than normally. That's what we have looking for the whole season. So yeah, we're moving the puck well. Our Ds are active in the O-zone, and that's helping the forwards a lot.
And you scored your team's second goal today. Before the game, you told me that it's the first time your parents are able to watch you in person play in the PWHL as you're from Switzerland. What does it mean to have scored while they're in the building?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, they're my biggest supporters. I love them so much, and that they're here means a lot. Yeah, it's expensive. It's a far flight, but I try to give everything I have every time, not only when they're here.
20 minutes left. You win the next period. You'll make it to playoffs. What's it going to take?
Just the same effort. Don't get too high. Yeah, just keep being above their F3 so we don't have odd man rushes, and just keep playing with the puck.
Thanks, Alina.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back to the Saga Center. 20 minutes left in the regular season for each of these two teams. Boston is in great position. If this result holds and they beat Montreal in regulation, they clinch a spot in the playoffs and will be either the 3 or the 4 seed, depending on how Toronto-Ottawa shakes out tomorrow.
Well, they came out to essentially a standing ovation when they took the ice again. This crowd has got the Let's Go Boston chant going on right now. Happy with the way they've seen their home team perform. Really full crowd, great energy here.
Boston dominated in the second period, 10-3 in scoring chances. Babstock playing catch with Knight, and Debian just 30 seconds into the third has to be ready for another shot. And Renee Debian has allowed 3 past her. Boston has forced her to make a whopping 23 saves. Frankel on the other side has 19. Tepany rings one off of the pad of Debian. And Boston continuing with the same attitude and pressure that they had the first 2 periods. That's what Alina Mueller told our ringside reporter Paige Capistrand. She wanted to see more of the same. And when we talked to Courtney Kessel during the game, she said this game is far from over.
No, but Boston has executed their game plan pretty much to a T. They only had the 1 penalty kill they were on. They've won the neutral zone battles. They've transitioned better. They forechecked better. They've won more face-offs. They're doing all of the things that Courtney Kessel wanted them to do coming into today's game.
Shirley tries to work through and is pushed off the puck by Tabin. Debian will cover up.
If Boston wins in regulation here, Ottawa has to get all 3 points. They have to get a regulation win in order to make it into the postseason. So this really puts the pressure on Ottawa as they're watching this game really closely.
If you're just watching the PWHL for the first time, you get an idea for how tightly contested this league has been from the jump. On the final weekend of the regular season, 3 teams fighting for the final 2 playoff spots. Just 1 team in New York was eliminated prior to this weekend.
Yeah, and if you're new to the PWHL too, you might not know they have a 3-point system, which means it does mean more to win in regulation, and that's why there are a lot more scenarios at play in the final weekend, because you could get no points, 1, 2, 3 points. It changes the way that this playoff picture works out.
A lot of people at the league were sorting out all kinds of tie-breaking scenarios as Montreal waltzes through and Poulin sends it just wide. Theoretically, Minnesota, Ottawa, and Boston could all be tied at 35 points at the end of the regular season. Big shot from Poulin, and another save from Frankel.
It's tough to finish out the regular season, David. Went for Minnesota on a 5-game losing streak. That was unexpected for them. They have a lot of good talent on that team.
Nice passing from Montreal. Poulin had it stripped. Keller tries to flick it to Knight, but it's intercepted by Daou. Stacey lays a big hit at the blue line, right in front of the Boston bench. Montreal, 4th in the league in power play percentage heading into this one, just below 14%. They have drawn the most penalties, though, so they've had the most opportunities on the power play. This takes a funky bounce, and it finds the back of the net. Montreal is on the board. That one took about 3 turns before beating Frankel. It's 3-1.
And that's exactly why you can't take penalties against this Montreal team. For Grit Mendes, that's her first PWHL goal. She came close a few other times, but she's able to poke this one in. As we get another look, it's a point shot that comes through. It beats Aaron Frankel, and then Grit Mendes, just for good measure, poking it in at the last minute. That was going in either way. It might have actually already been in, as Fracken tried to reach her stick in and pull that off the goal line to help make the stop, but it hit Fracken in the skates, and that's what that redirection was out in front of Frankel. Puck ends up behind her, and she's been so good today. So if this does count for Michaela Grant-Mentis, it is her first PWHL goal. We mentioned this is her new life here in Montreal. She started with Ottawa, got released, and now she's done pretty well since joining this Montreal squad.
Montreal moves to 1 for 2 on the power play today. They just had 2 shots on goal on that power play opportunity. Montreal's first of the day is credited to Grant Mentis, assist to Melody Daou and Amanda Boulier. It went off of Boulier on the initial shot and took a couple redirections. A nice job by Gabrielle David on the play as well. In front now, Montreal trying to scratch and claw back into this thing with 15 and change to go. Shirley on the right side. Sophie Shirley fends off Tabin and gets slammed into the boards. Morin has it at the left point. Keller creeping in, and that was deflected and into the glove of Debian. And Bridget, that was not the traditional top line of the power play that scored. Usually you see Poulin and Ambrose and Stacey and some of the top scorers on that opening line on the power play.
Coach Chavry, when she was talking to us, she said that though they've already clinched and she wants to play her full lineup, she did consider tinkering with some things, and that includes on the power play.
Montreal also a team that prides themselves on depth. Head coach Corey Chevry told us what has made the difference in a lot of these games is our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th line scoring. We also have some of the best players in the world, several of whom have been on Team Canada in their careers.
And by the way, Michaela Grant-Mentis, when she played at Merrimack, was a force net front, and that's where you see her get that goal. She's always just hanging out, waiting for a rebound, screening. For Montreal, that's really where she can add to the depth.
Grant-Mentis scored 117 career points in college, had 2 30-plus seasons, 30-point seasons, I should say, before finishing out her college career. This one takes a funky bounce off of the boards, but Frankel is there to slow it down behind the goal.
She was the best player on that Merrimack team, most physical player in Hockey East that season. You knew you didn't really want to mix it up with her.
Babstock has gotten a lot of action since Jamie Lee Rattray has departed from this game. We haven't seen her since the first period, when she took a hit in the open ice from LaFour. But Babstock has done great with an assist. Knight forces the turnover, still has the puck. And Boston will recollect at the red line. Brandt slings it back. Now Fracken with it. Kaylee Fracken played her college hockey at BU. The 31-year-old grew up in British Columbia.
She won 2 championships with the Boston Pride. She's been playing here for a while.
Here's Mueller. Mueller down low. Oh, Knight went across the crease, but Tapani Didn't have her stick down. Hillary Knight has left her fingerprints all over this game. A goal and an assist for the captain, as Boston is now 13 minutes away from a playoff berth. Montreal has gotten one back here in the third. It came at 3:43 on the power play, courtesy of Michaela Grant-Mentis. Assists to Melody Daou and Amanda Boulier. Bostonson checking in the neutral zone, working through, and now Keller drops it back for her D-line partner Emily Brown. Keller scored the last goal for Boston. That came at the early part of the second period. Montreal trying to keep the puck in the zone. Boulier got her stick on it, but now Keller drifts to the red line. Shirley will tap it deep, and Boston goes for a change. New York beat Minnesota earlier today, 5-2. Minnesota winless since the international break. They lost 2 games by 1 goal, including a heartbreaker to Boston. Hannah Brandt scored with just 2.7 seconds left in that one to give Boston the 2-1 win. Here's Hillary Knight. Knight still with it, shoots, and Debienne, another save. Bouncing puck comes into Frankel. DiGirolamo is there to swoop behind goal. Montreal pesky though as they try to win it back. Knight breaks it out. Just over 10 minutes left in the third period. Boston got a big result thanks to New York's win over Minnesota earlier today, 5-2. Franken, a big hit. And she's gonna go to the box for that one. Took down Stacy. Stacy wants a word.
DiGirolamo and the refs trying to keep her away from Franken. That was a big check. And that's the second big hit Stacy has taken in today's game. Kaylee Franken, a physical player, lays that so hard, so you can see why she's just a little bit upset. And Kaylee Franken, the most penalized player in the PWHL, will go to the box now. And Montreal just scored on their most recent power play. This is a tough time, a bad situation for Boston to be in, trying to hold on to this lead.
Head coach Courtney Kessel said they wanted to take 2 minor penalties or fewer. This is the 4th penalty against Boston today, and the 2nd roughing call. Kaylee Franken will sit. She's also a great penalty killer for this Boston team. They win the faceoff, send it down the length of the ice.
Hannah Brandt, good at the draw. Got it back to DiGirolamo for the clear.
Montreal 1 for 2 on the power play today with 2 shots. Michaela Grant-Mentis found the back of the net after it took redirections from Boulier. Stacy with a shot. Frankel makes the save. Out tonight. Here's Hillary Knight, one-on-one. She shoots. Gets her own rebound behind goal.
Looking for the jailbreak.
Taken away by Montreal. They are offsides with 1:17 left on the power play. Montreal has 12 power play goals as a team this season. Grant-Mentis scored her first career goal in the PWHL and the most recent of Montreal's power play goals this year. There's a big hit by Keller. Arms stay down. As slow to get up is Tabin. Big shot from Boulier, and a redirection sends it into the glass. Pelkey will smack it down the length of the ice with 45 to go.
Crowd mad, they thought too many players on the ice because Tabin was trying to get off. And it hit her as she got onto the bench. Another player was already on the ice.
Boston fans have been loud. Keppel tees one up. They score! Montreal nets their 2nd power play goal. This is Mariah Keppel. It's a 1-goal game.
Montreal doing it 2 power plays in a row. This is exactly what Boston didn't want to get into penalty trouble. This is a power play that has been deadly. 9 power play goals in the last 5 games. You see Courtney Kessel shaking her head there. She's upset. And Frankel wanted to have a talk with the refs as well. We'll see if she had anybody touching her in the crease. It looks like David was out there, but Frankel right there at the top of the blue wanted goalie interference, but so far hard to see anything that would warrant that, and it doesn't look like they're looking at it. And we're being told from downstairs that they're looking at too many players on the ice, but that's what Courtney Kessel is wondering about from that last play, and that's where some of the frustration comes.
It was Boulier who touched the puck after Pelkey thought she cleared it all the way down.
And even if it was a missed call, if you're Boston, you still have to fight through the rest of that penalty kill. And at the end of the day, Montreal was able to work harder there and get that one in. So you're in a tough position, down by or up by only one now with about 8 minutes left to play.
Can Montreal play spoiler? Knight shoots and it goes wide. Boston would lock up a playoff spot with a regulation win. If they go to overtime or a shootout, Boston could still make the playoffs, but they would not clinch today. They would need to get more points than Ottawa gets in their matchup against Toronto tomorrow.
They would be glued to that game tomorrow night, 7 o'clock start, hoping for Ottawa to drop some points.
Here's Shopsall. Shopsall's onside. Tapped it back to DiGirolamo. New life in the crowd, as this is the closest the game has been since 1-0. Boston was up by 3. Montreal with 2 power play goals here in the third on each of Boston's last 2 penalties. DiGirolamo tried to send it over to Tapani. Shirley peeked out of her left shoulder and tried to get it out to Mueller. Running it down is Boulier. Boulier keeps it moving. 7 minutes and change left in regulation. With Bridget Prue, I'm David Korzanowski. The regular season coming down to the wire in so many ways. 3 teams fighting for the final 2 spots in the playoffs. That's Ottawa, Minnesota, and Boston. Nice move by Keller. Keller gets ridden into the boards. Keller gets it back. Spun it out to the open ice somehow. Moore in his first there. She drifts back towards the center. That goes wide. Tossed in front. And Montreal looks to break it out. Dalton will send it in towards Frankel, and another hit. Whistles are going to be interesting here in the final 6 minutes, as any penalty for either side could be a backbreaker. These 2 teams have played 3 times prior to today's matchup. 2 of those games went to overtime. Boston won 4-3 back in January. Montreal won here at the Tsongas Center 2-1 in overtime in February. And the most recent matchup, a 3-1 win for Montreal on March 2nd. Moore hitting as Brown is slow to get up. Now drifting back on defense. Fratkin on the end boards with a little bump.
You knew she was going to finish that one. Been about 3 or 4 real good hits here in the last minute and a half.
Nice clear by Boston as they're able to finish the change. Boston hanging on. If this result holds, they lock up a spot in the playoffs. If Montreal is to even the score and we go to overtime, Shirley! Oh, she wound up and it went high. All the way down. They wave off icing. Another big hit by Montreal. A spirited effort from the visitors here in the third in a game that they do not need to win per se. They have already locked up the 2 seed, but their head coach has stressed the importance of getting better game after game. Costa threw that one back toward the near side. Hit laid by Agia. And now Costa tried to get her stick on it. Fratkin sends it back behind Desbiens. Down to the final 4:30 in a 1-goal game. Knight spinning away from trouble. Knight waits, shoots. Oh, it went off of a body in front. Babstock was the screener. It didn't get through to Debian.
I love the way that Knight was patient with the puck, though. Took it all the way around the zone, tried to find an open lane to shoot. Hoping for the redirect on that shot.
Keller gets it back in. Brand tosses it towards Debian, who will wisely cover it up. Mariah Keppel with Montreal's most recent goal. It's her first of the season. Assists to Amanda Boulier and Melody Daou. Boulier and Daou each with 2 power play assists in this game. Fans at the Songa Center are up and on their feet. That one snagged by Frankel, tossed in from the outside by Poulin. But they know that if Boston wants to extend their season, they can lock up a spot. And the puck won back by Montreal. Stacey again. Stacey back to Ambrose. Ambrose extra pass, runs into traffic. They score! Aaron Ambrose has tied this up. 3-3, 3 minutes to go.
That hurts for Boston. Coming into this third period with a 3-0 lead and giving it up with the extra attacker on the ice, Poulin with the goal. But Debian had just come out of the net. It was for that face-off, it was 6-on-4. And that hurts Boston's chances right there. If they were to win in overtime, they would not automatically make it in. As we get another look at this goal. Originally blocked by Knight, but Poulin follows the shot and lifts it up over the glove of Aaron Frankel.
So it's Marie-Philippe Poulin with the goal. Assist to Aaron Ambrose for Marie-Philippe Poulin. It is her 10th of the season. Also her second against Boston this year. Montreal is trying to play spoiler. They've scored 3 times here in the third. A bouncing puck into Debian. Shopsaw pressuring there.
Only 2:50 left to go to score again in order to seal that, David. It looked like almost a sure thing coming into the final period. Boston was executing their game plan perfectly. Then they came back, took some penalties, and it's turned around.
Here's a turnover. Spun back by Daou. Over to Tabin. Tabin winds up, and it's blocked by Knight. Knight has it carry him off the boards. This will go all the way down for icing as Montreal has put the pressure on this home team. Montreal knows that they are the 2 seed in the playoffs. They know that they have home ice advantage in the semifinals starting this week. They could have mailed it in, but instead they scratched and clawed their way back, and they have a chance to play spoiler. Two minutes left in regulation. Will these 2 teams go to overtime for the 3rd time this season? Or is there a goal left? Here's Stacey all alone. Opts not to shoot. Keppel, and it's blocked by Keller. Mueller, open ice. Mueller all alone. Alina Mueller. Oh, it's saved by Debian. The crowd rising to their feet.
As we get another look from behind the goal, just couldn't squeak it. Looked like she was trying to go 5-hole.
Ozone faceoff won by Boston. Less than 90 seconds left in regulation. Fratkin, she scores! Kaylee Fratkin into the redirection. Boston back in front.
The crowd
Was that the playoff clinching goal for PWHL Boston? After coughing up a 3-goal lead, Kaylee Fracken, the 31-year-old defender from Burnaby, British Columbia, scores her second of the season, like you said, Bridget, later after she took a penalty, and this crowd is going ballistic.
And now we'll probably see Davienne make a break for the bench real quick.
Boston looked like they were in great position to lock up a spot. Then it was 3-3. Then Kaylee Fracken, off a friendly fire, was able to score. And Boston is 60 seconds away. The net is empty. Does Montreal have one last burst? Daou backhands it to the corner. Stacy now to the left point. This is Ambrose. 45 seconds. Ambrose in front. And it bounces wide. O'Neill hammers it back. Ambrose keeps it in. 40 seconds left. Stacy to Ambrose. Ambrose to Pouled. She winds up. And it's cleared by Boston.
Brown making a block, and it's a clear right away.
Keller fighting for it at the blue line. Montreal with possession. Cross-ice pass. 20 seconds left. Brown. She got it out. Boston fans rise to their feet. And in the final game of the regular season, Boston is 3.4 seconds away after the whistle blows for offsides. Lexia Gia takes the face-off for Boston. It's won by Montreal. Thrown in, and Boston has secured a berth in the inaugural PWHL playoffs. Kaylee Fracken, the hero, with the game winner.